Most people have heard the phrase, "she wears the pants in that relationship," and no one thinks anything of it. If you think about it right now, there's probably a couple that comes to mind. They are very likely a level 1 female-led relationship, whether they officially define it as one or not. As I continued to explore relationship dynamics and tentatively investigate the difference between femdom and female-led relationship, I realized there is so much more on dominance than on a true FLR. It's probably why the misconception that FLR automatically involves femdom is so common. As it happens, the two dynamics, femdom and female-led relationships, can exist separately or together. Participating in one is not a requirement to participate in the other. As I've stated, my husband craves dominance, which is typically considered only part of a level 4 FLR. While I hadn't initially requested the dominant role, I was open to trying it. It was after stumbling through our own ideas of what it should look like that I started doing more of my own research for guidance. I was looking for anything remotely helpful online, listening to podcasts my husband recommended from his own playlists, books specifically referencing FLR now that I knew what to call it. It was much easier to locate resources on dominance and femdom, but I actually used a combination of both FLR and femdom resources because they can overlap in several ways. While the specifics and topics of discussions may vary, it is recommended in both situations to create a contract or to at least review and discuss the items and agree on the parameters or boundaries. There are examples of both FLR and femdom contracts on Etsy if you would like to understand what they might look like. Please keep in mind that some of the resources on Etsy are for those interested in setting up a more professional relationship than a personal relationship. Again, every couple is different. Each couple determines what they want to address in their own contract. It may be a simple half-page document, or it may be 10 pages of extreme detail. It's a reflection of your relationship. I would recommend setting a date to revisit the initial agreement to determine if the structure is realistic for your relationship. It's important to allow for an opportunity to refine or modify a previous decision without considering the entire document a failure. You may think you're going to be comfortable with something and find the experience to be very different. Once both parties are in agreement that the document is accurate, you are simply ensuring compliance, as you would any other contract. In our case, we had a rather lengthy discussion involving behaviors and consent, expectations for both parties, and even punishments. We talked through contracts, but instead of creating a single document that felt too static for our evolving relationship, I took the notebook I'd been using to collect my notes from all of my various research, and I created what I now call our manual. My original notes were exactly that, scratched notes in sentence fragments and bullet points with almost no real organization. I took a fresh notebook, more of a journal, and began to write organized statements that confirmed the rules we agreed define the FLR portion of our relationship. To clarify, we would still run into snags occasionally. My husband originally believed it would be simple to continue our roles in front of our teenage children, but he found himself dropping the deference to me when they were around. We discussed the nuance of being able to show his respect to me without being as obvious. Instead of bowing, he could nod his head while making eye contact. These notes were added to the manual. Later, when the manual had quite a few pages with numerous notes, I added what I considered to be my quick reference section to the back. Remember, my husband likes to be dominated. He likes to be punished. I, however, have a tendency to use the same punishments over and over if I forget to review my list occasionally. The manual has more room for growth for us than a typical contract. Throughout our journey, we've had stops and starts. We've had notes to add to the manual. We've created signals to each other for use in front of the kids. We've established time for feedback, and while the perfectionist in me has trouble with criticism, we work through any issues we may be facing. While the dominance began from my husband's kink in the bedroom, our FLR was and is influencing our relationship daily. Don't get me wrong, the sex has also improved dramatically. But I've been pleasantly surprised to find something beginning with role play in the bedroom could turn into a full-time lifestyle that would have such a profound effect on our relationship. If you're enjoying this content, please click subscribe in the bottom right-hand corner.